Right, so today Big Ed and Liz are back in group therapy, and unfortunately this time the Kama Sutra is involved. So far, the therapy for the two of them has been very hit and miss. Ed cheated on the first group therapy session, which resulted in a big argument between not only Ed and Liz, but also between Ed, Jovi and Kelly. In the second group therapy session, Liz revealed how unsatisfied she was with Ed's performance in the bedroom. And then, last time out, Ed went for a solo therapy session that proved just as unfruitful as the first two, with the therapist taking him on a journey back to his apparent past life, where Ed discovered that he was a 17th century leprechaun. Now, Ed's off back to his hotel room to relax and ponder whatever lessons he feels he learnt from the session. Thankfully, he's got some rare alone time to do so, because Liz is over in Molly's room having a girls' night.
My nipples got hard.
I mean, well, damn, it don't take much.
Liz is actually a full-blown alcoholic, isn't she? Don't get me wrong, enjoying a few glasses of wine with friends is one thing, but frothing at the mouth at the mere sound of a champagne bottle popping open is another. That said though, it is always nice to see Liz laughing and having a good time, given she spends the majority of these episodes either crying or arguing. Although, that might not last long. The other major concern is how argumentative Liz can get when she's drunk, and although Ed isn't here, Angela is about to arrive.
I want to have a fun night tonight, okay? And there's like awkward tension right there in the middle. So can we like hash this out so that we can have a really fun night, please?
So the pair haven't actually spoken since Angela terrifyingly confronted Liz at the hot tub a few nights ago.
I sat there and took up you. When did I talk you? Now cry now.
Surprisingly though, despite an initially frosty greeting and the fact that Angela was obviously the one in the wrong that night, it's Liz that's the one to break the awkward silence.
I will say that altercation has really helped Ed and I realizing how much that I don't have his back.
These are genuinely the words of someone who has been manipulated badly over a very long period of time. That is the only possible explanation I have for her sitting there thanking Angela for squaring up to her face and hurling abuse at her, and claiming it helped her realise that she doesn't have Ed's back.
I know to have my man's back, and you were a big part of it, and I'm happy it didn't get worse than what it was, and I know you mean well.
Saying "I know you mean well" after what happened is very, very questionable. On the one hand, I guess I'm glad that Liz made peace with her, but on the other, she should be expecting at the very least an apology for what Angela did that night. If you're too forgiving, people are going to take advantage of that, and I fear it's already gotten to that point with Liz.
I feel bad because Liz is a good person and I'm just a crazy bitch. So squash it. Let's just carry on and have a good time.
And a good time they had. The next few clips show the girls getting increasingly drunk and trying on lingerie in front of each other. But other than that, nothing too exciting happens. The next day, Molly, Kelly, Yara and Jovi are sitting down at brunch speaking about the previous night. After the girls speak about how their evening went, Jovi reveals that the guys went out too, but that they didn't invite Ed.
If we go out again for a guys' night, like, he has some rules he needs to follow. And it's going to be not being the center of attention, so...
Okay.
Good luck with that.
You can't really blame them for not inviting him, can you? All he's done is antagonize everyone since he arrived, especially Kelly and Jovi. I appreciate they want to stay open to him joining in future by laying down some rules, but I just don't think it's going to help much. Main character syndrome just runs too deeply within Ed's veins. Anyway, Liz hasn't made it to brunch because she's too hungover, so on the other table, Kalani is showing Ed photos of what they got up to.
Out, we were screaming. It was so much fun. Angela said she's a part of the Fat Cat Club. Do you know what that means, Ed? The Fat Cat Clubs? It means you got a fat coochie.
Why has she decided to reveal that information at brunch, especially to Ed? Like, of all people, it's not going to be news to him, is it? All he says in response though is that he had never heard that term and he had only found out what taint meant a few days ago. It's surprising because a part of me thought that this would bring up the whole lesbian jealousy argument all over again. Unfortunately, the conversation doesn't get any more palatable after speaking about Ed's taint. So if you're eating anything else right now, you know the drill. And if you have a metaphobia, best skip the next 10 seconds.
If Liz's butthole.
Okay, this is butthole.
Yeah. Okay, all the way in.
Ew!
So I just made him throw up.
That is the most valid reaction asuelu could have possibly had. Why Molly and Angela were even entertaining the idea of Big Ed giving us that demonstration is beyond me. But the noise he made whilst doing it was one step too far.
When Ed talking about that, my stomach is still hungover from last night. Man, I just can't hold it. And then I threw up.
To be fair, even if he wasn't hungover, who could blame him? I swear, only Big Ed could take a fully grown man eating brunch in the sun at a luxury resort and make them throw up with nothing but a flower. It gets worse though because the smell and the sound makes everyone else start gagging and starts a chain reaction.
Don't do that! Don't do that! Stop! Everybody's throwing up. Fuck. I licked a butthole and everybody threw up. Oh.
My goodness, this is Ed's first appearance in the episode and within minutes it has all descended into anarchy. And once again, of course, he had to be the centre of attention. Asuelu's there throwing up and Ed has to stand up and announce to everyone that he caused it. He's a menace to society and he needs stopping. Eventually though, everything settles down and Ed takes his first steps to redeeming himself in the eyes of the boys.
Kelly, I'm sorry I love you. I'm sorry for calling you names.
Oh, you got your apology before even asking for it. I know.
Again, with the insincere I love you. I hate it so much. I guess we've got to give him some credit for apologising though, even if it was mainly motivated by FOMO. I mean, I guess he could have just as easily been annoyed at the guys for hanging out without him, so kudos for reacting maturely, I guess.
And I'm going to be less talkover.
All right. He's doing everything we want him to do without us
That's what I'm
asking.
talking about.
I love how he's so emotionally stunted that they've all resorted to infantilizing him. Like a literal 3-year-old that's just finished having a tantrum, a simple apology is enough for everyone to lose their minds. Unfortunately, again, I just don't think it's going to do anything because he has such a consistent track record of apologizing and then repeating that behavior all over again.
When I get uncomfortable, I become the clown and I need to work on my behavior. And not just with Liz, but with everybody.
Nothing new and not exactly the most groundbreaking epiphany, but he said he learned that from his past life regression therapy, so maybe that was worth something after all. Next up though, we're back to group therapy. The couples all gather round and the sex educator from episode 4 comes in and says that she's hired a Kama Sutra expert to take the lead on this one. So to begin, everyone is told to get into the lotus position.
Why are you guys 69ing?
We're not shy.
Well, I wish they bloody were. I don't know why she's saying it in such a pompous, arrogant way either. This kind of behaviour isn't something to be proud of. They've been told to get into a specific position, so why are they doing that? I mean, I get that it won't be easy to get into positions designed for 2 humans when one of them is substituted for a space opera, but at least try.
If I think of everything I don't want to see in my whole life, Ed having sex is at the top of the list.
Real, a rare moment of relatability on this series. Surely the producers know that this is exactly how we all feel as well. Why do they put us through this stuff? Either way, I'm glad Asuelu is laughing at the image of Big Ed having sex because it could easily have caused him to throw up all over again.
The class is Kama Sutra, not Porno Sutra.
Yeah, it's just excessive, and it also feels a little bit disrespectful. Like they're not just in a random sex ed class, they're being taught by an expert in an ancient Hindu text, and they're making a bit of a mockery of it. It's also weird to see Liz taking the piss after spending the first 5 episodes crying about Ed not taking the other group therapy sessions seriously.
How are you feeling? Good?
If there was nobody else here, I would have made a porno.
I like it.
As if anyone would want to watch a tape of Ed mounting Liz like an oversized stag beetle. This is actually annoying me as well now. They've spent this entire therapy session acting like sex gods, which would be fine if Liz hadn't spent the entirety of episode 4 talking about how bad Ed is in bed and how deeply unsatisfying their sex life is. I wonder if they spoke about it after and had deep regrets, because ever since that moment, they've seemed desperate to prove to everyone how great their sex life is. And Liz joining in on the whole facade, trying to be the centre of attention here, just comes across as so immature and pathetic.
There's a couple things Ed and I can probably teach the teacher.
Now we've come up on our own. We've invented things.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Ed doesn't need Liz, does he? His head is shoved so far up his own arse that he's massaging his own prostate. I mean, I'm sure with Ed's unique body shape and their unusual size discrepancy that they might have come up with 1 or 2 unique positions. But aside from that, and possibly sticking an oxygen tank down the side of the bed, what else have they innovated that has them this arrogant?
I'll see y'all soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was fun. Babe, let's keep the blindfold too.
A blindfold. Now there is something that will help Liz in the bedroom. It's actually mental how up and down their lives are, isn't it? One minute they're arguing and crying and talking about having a terrible sex life with no romance and falling out with all the other couples. And the next they're self-asserted sex gods that can't keep their hands off each other and are best friends with everyone they've recently fallen out with. It's bizarre to watch, but on the plus side, you never know what's coming next. So if you want to find out and keep up with the saga, make sure you're subscribed down below. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.